Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to focus on what feels like the ultimate cheat code for navigating this crazy, fast-moving world we're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Finding stability in what doesn't change.
Yeah.
We're talking about human nature, incentives, risk, and
Well,
constants.
Because everyone is agonizing over predicting the next big thing, the next market crash, or the next tech breakthrough. But the real power, the real edge, comes from understanding the patterns that are, as Morgan Housel puts it in his book, just same as ever.
And that's what we're diving into today. These principles that they push back against this obsession with forecasting.
They do.
So our mission here isn't to look into some crystal ball. It's more about pulling out these timeless ideas that can help you anticipate, well, not events, but big human moments.
And build resilience from there. It's about getting to the why of it all, the underlying logic of why things seem to happen over and over again.
Okay, let's unpack this. And what hits you right out of the gate from the sources is just how fragile everything is. This idea that history is hanging by a thread.
It's such a crucial place to start. It totally challenges our assumption that history is this straight line moving forward.
That it was all inevitable.
Exactly. It's not. Housel shows us that these huge world-changing events often hang on the tiniest things. A minor decision, a small mistake, pure dumb luck.
And when you look for it, the evidence is it's everywhere. Take the American Revolution. George Washington's army was about to be completely wiped out at the Battle of Long Island.
Completely cornered.
And they were only saved because the wind just happened to shift direction, which let them retreat under the cover of thick fog, a little change in the weather, and
American history is completely different. It's humbling, really.
it is.
Or think about the Lusitania. Its sinking pushed America toward World War I. The captain, William Turner, he made a tiny call to save a little fuel.
Just an economic decision.
Just an economic decision. Travel a bit slower, on a predictable path, and that one choice is what allowed the German U-boat to find them.
A tiny decision with this massive global consequence.
Yeah. And on the political side, there's Giuseppe Zangara. In 1933, he tried to assassinate FDR in Miami.
Right.
He missed Roosevelt completely, but killed the mayor of Chicago instead. If that bullet had landed just a foot differently.
The New Deal, World War II. Everything changes.
The absurdity of it all should just make us so skeptical of our ability to predict anything.
And that leads right into the nature of risk itself, this illusion of foresight.
Yes.
We think we know what's coming, but really, we're only good at predicting the obvious stuff.
Right. The trends that are already in motion, we fail, and we fail spectacularly at predicting the surprises.
And the surprises are the only things that truly matter.
They are. The biggest risks are always what no one sees coming. Because if everyone is worried about something, say, inflation.
It's priced in.
It's priced in, it's manageable, it's the thing that's completely off the radar that does the real damage because no one is prepared for it.
We even see this in these tragic personal stories, like the astronaut Victor Prather.
Meticulous planning.
NASA-level planning for his flight. He survives the whole mission, but then he drowns after landing because he opened his helmet too soon. A simple, unforeseen mistake.
Or the ultimate irony, Harry Houdini. The man survives being buried alive, locked in water tanks, you name it.
All these impossible escapes.
And then he dies from a random punch to the stomach that he wasn't ready for. Risk is what's left after you've thought of everything else.
So if we accept that the world is fragile and the biggest risks are invisible, what do you do? How do you build a strategy for that?
The whole game changes. The goal isn't to make your predictions 1% better. It's to invest in preparedness, not in prediction.
So a buffer.
A huge buffer. Big savings, very little debt, having options in your career, things that let you absorb a shock no matter where it comes from.
That internal resilience. Which brings us to the messy part. Human psychology. Let's start with the expectation game. The idea that how happy you are depends way more on your expectations than your actual circumstances.
This is probably the hardest one to really internalize. It just runs counter to everything we're taught about progress.
Right. Always strive for more.
Always.
Right.
But if your expectations are rising faster than your reality, you're always going to feel like you're falling behind, even if you're objectively better off than, your parents were.
Charlie Munger's quote is perfect here. The first rule of a happy life is low expectations.
Yeah.
But doesn't that sound a little defeatist?
That's the tension, right?
Like, should I just not be ambitious?
It's not about being passive. It's about managing the gap between what you have and what you feel you should have. Think about the 1950s.
We romanticize it as this golden age.
We do. But if you look at the actual numbers, median income, home ownership, we're way better off today.
Well, why do we feel worse?
Because the ceiling for expectations back then was just lower. Today, our expectations are so skewed that any real gain we make just gets eaten up by anxiety and comparison.
And social media is basically an engine designed to create that envy.
It's pure fuel on the fire. Yeah.
Speaking of people who achieve a lot, let's talk about the duality of genius. This idea that people who are brilliant in one way are often really challenging in another.
It's the package deal principle. You don't get one without the other. The same brain that sees patterns no one else does is often the same brain that's wired to be disruptive or erratic.
So give us an example.
Okay, John Boyd, the military strategist we mentioned, absolute genius with the OD loop, changed aerial combat forever.
A legend.
A total legend. But he was also known for being incredibly aggressive, abrasive, and just plain rude to his colleagues.
Or someone like Isaac Newton, a mind that literally changed science.
Codified the laws of gravity. But he also spent a huge amount of his time on alchemy, trying to turn lead into gold.
So you get the genius and the weirdness all in one.
Exactly. And Naval Ravikant made this point brilliantly. He said, when you pick a role model, you have to be willing to trade for their entire life.
The whole package. Flaws and all.
Flaws and all. You can't just pick out the parts you like. The success and the struggle are usually inseparable.
And for those people to succeed, they need to rely on our next constant, which is that the best story wins. Narrative is more powerful than data.
Always. We like to think we're rational, that we make decisions based on spreadsheets and facts.
But we don't.
Not really. We're emotional creatures and we're moved by stories. A good story simplifies things. It makes us feel like we belong, and it sticks with us in a way that numbers just don't.
The ultimate example of this has to be Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech.
Absolutely.
He had a script full of facts and policy points. But the moment it became legendary was when he went off script.
And just started telling that powerful, emotional story. He tapped into a narrative. That's what moves people. A good story is easier to remember, and honestly, it's just easier to believe.
We prefer stories because we want certainty, which leads to the next idea. Wild numbers.
And this is such a dangerous bias. We hate ambiguity. It creates anxiety, so we demand these bold black and white answers.
A yes or a no.
We want a yes or a no, even when the truth is almost always a probability. It's a shade of gray.
That's that classic CIA director example.
Yeah, right.
Demanding to know for sure if bin Laden was in that compound.
Exactly. The intelligence analysts are saying, look, we're maybe 60 to 80% certain, and the director just wants a definitive answer.
Because it's easier to act on.
It's easier, but it's less accurate. And this bias just makes us terrible at judging risk on a big scale. We obsess over the tiny chance of something happening to us.
Like winning the lottery twice.
Right, like Evelyn Marie Adams. The odds for her were what, 1 in 17 trillion? Impossible.
So how did it happen?
Because when you have billions of people playing lotteries all over the world, all the time, these impossible events become statistically inevitable. They're going to happen to someone.
And this belief that we have it all figured out, that we can be certain, that's when things get dangerous.
That's the whole idea behind Hyman Minsky's thesis. Calm plants the seeds of crazy.
Stability is destabilizing.
It is. When everything is going well for a long time, the market is calm, the economy is growing, people start to believe the risk is just gone.
So they get comfortable.
They get more than comfortable. They get reckless. They take on more debt, more leverage, because, hey, why not? The good times are here to stay. And that very stability plants the seeds of the next crisis.
But wait, you have to have some optimism, right? If everyone is paranoid all the time, nobody invests, nobody innovates.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Minsky isn't arguing against optimism. He's arguing against the certainty that the stability will last forever.
So you have to stay a little paranoid.
You have to maintain that buffer we talked about, that preparedness. Because the calm is exactly what's encouraging everyone else to drop their guard.
And that recklessness often comes from a desire for speed. Too much, too soon, too fast.
We always want to accelerate things, and it almost always backfires.
You see it in biology. Robert Wadlow, the tallest man ever.
Yeah.
He grew so fast that his body it couldn't keep up. It couldn't support itself.
And you see the exact same thing in business. Look at Starbucks in the early 2000s.
They were opening stores everywhere.
Everywhere. It was this undisciplined, rapid expansion. And it diluted the brand. The quality dropped. They had to pull back hard to fix it.
Like trees.
Exactly. The slow-growing trees are the strongest. Real, lasting success takes time. Usually a decade, not a quarter.
And maybe it doesn't just take time, it takes imperfection. The casualty of perfection.
It sounds so wrong, doesn't it? Like business heresy.
Be inefficient on purpose.
Right. But being 100% efficient makes you incredibly fragile. The biologist Ivan Schmalhausen said evolution doesn't favor perfect traits.
A favor's good enough.
Good enough. Because being perfect at one thing usually means you're vulnerable in another. If you optimize for just one environment, you break the second the environment changes.
So that cash in your portfolio, it's inefficient during a bull market.
Totally inefficient. But it saves your life in a crash.
And wasting time just letting your mind wander.
It's where creativity comes from. It's why that maxim is so true. Approximately right is better than precisely wrong. You need some slack in the system.
Okay, so moving from systems to ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we have to accept that it's supposed to be hard.
Yeah. We are wired to look for the shortcut.
Like the donor party.
The perfect, tragic example. They took a shortcut to California because they didn't want to do the hard work of the established trail.
And it led to total disaster.
Complete catastrophe. The real mental shift isn't about avoiding pain. It's about accepting that pain is the price of admission for anything worthwhile.
So the goal isn't to make it not hurt.
No. The trick, like that great line from Lawrence of Arabia, is not minding that it hurts. You just have to see the struggle as part of the deal.
And while you're going through that struggle, it's so easy to look at other people and think they have it all figured out.
Oh, always.
But we have to remember, harder than it looks and not as fun as it seems.
Yes. You're only ever seeing the highlight reel, the tip of the iceberg. Underneath the surface are all the flaws, the anxieties, the personal chaos.
The grass is always greener on the side that's fertilized with,
Well,
you know.
exactly. And realizing that even someone like Warren Buffett has terrible days and faces his own turmoil, that builds empathy. It stops you from thinking they have some magic power that you don't.
And what drives all of this, what might be the most powerful force of all, is incentives.
When the incentives are crazy, the behavior is crazy, period.
They're more powerful than reason, than morality.
Than almost anything. Look at the subprime mortgage crisis. You had ordinary people doing insane, reckless things. Why?
Bonuses.
The bonuses. The financial incentives were so huge and so immediate that they completely overrode any sense of long-term risk or ethical boundaries.
And the best way to use this idea is to turn it on yourself.
Yes.
To ask that a really uncomfortable question. Which of my current views would change if my incentives were different?
It's a question that just cuts right through all your biases and self-deception. It's incredibly powerful.
And all these ideas stick around. They endure because of the final constant. Wounds heal, scars last.
There is nothing more persuasive than personal experience. Nothing.
You could read 1,000 books about a market crash.
But it's nothing like living through one. The Great Depression left a permanent scar on an entire generation. Their relationship with risk and security was changed forever, long after the economy got better.
And this is maybe the key to understanding why we disagree with each other so much.
I think it is. It's often not about facts or intelligence. It's about having fundamentally different life experiences, different scars.
So the question to ask someone you disagree with isn't, why can't you see the data?
No. The question is, what have you experienced that I haven't that makes you feel this way? That's the only way to find common ground.
So when we zoom out, what's the big takeaway from all this?
I think.
The core theme seems to be that you achieve timeless success by preparing for what you can't predict.
The surprises, the bad luck.
By mastering the things you can control. Your expectations, your behavior, your own resilience.
Exactly. We have no idea what the world will look like next year. But we can be damn sure that people are still going to be driven by greed, fear, envy, and opportunity.
The same as ever.
The same as ever. Knowing how we've always behaved is the only reliable compass we have for the future.
We know that wounds heal, but scars last. So here's a thought for you to carry forward, something to mull over. If you accept that your most painful past experience, a financial loss, a career failure, has left a permanent scar on how you see risk, what's one decision you're making today because of that old wound? And what might that decision look like if that scar never existed?
Think about those unseen constraints. Until next time, keep diving deep.